Hello. I am the Linux Mench. In my last video, I did a full manual install of Arch Linux, and I did it as fast as I could, and it took a half hour. After making the video, Titus made a video using an installer he made for himself, and he installed Arch Linux he did the base install in 5 minutes. I think the whole thing took 10 minutes or 12 minutes. I really don't remember, but it was a really fast install, and he made his own automated installer for Arch Linux. Now, when I do my fast installs of Arch Linux, I use the automated Arch Linux installer called Arch Install to do a base install, and then I use my post install script from my GitLab repository to install all my favorite window managers, desktop environments, apps, and so forth. So, which one is faster? His way or my way? So what I'm going to do in today's video is first, I'm going to go through an install of Arch Linux using Titus' new automated installer. And then I'm going to go through another install of Arch Linux using the automated Arch Linux installer that comes on the ISO called Arch Install. And then when I do that one, I'm going to use my post install script to install my favorite window managers and apps. And I'm going to time both of them to see which one is faster. And then afterwards, I'm going to do a brief tour of each install to see what's in it and what it's about. And then I'm going to give my concluding thoughts. And there's another thing I'm doing different. And I have to apologize for this long introduction. It's longer than usual. The other thing I'm going to do is this. I've already recorded the video where I go through an Arch Linux install using Titus' new installer, and also an install where I use the Arch Linux automated installer, Arch Install, with my post install script. I've already recorded that with no talking because I wanted to concentrate on using the installers and to see how fast I could do them. And talking just distracts me and slows it down. So I've already made the video, and now I'm going to replay the video or re-record it while I'm narrating. So I don't know how the quality of the video is going to come out and how it's going to look on YouTube, because I've never done it this way before. So let's get to it. So like I said, I already made the video, I did 2 installations, and I timed them. And now I'm going to replay them or re-record it and narrate what I was doing. So, and this is the beginning of the video and I did not record Titus going through his install. I actually went through the install using his installer. I just want to make that clear. This is the beginning of the video. I've logged on to the live ISO of Arch Linux from February 1st, 2025 in a virtual machine. So let's play the video. And here's my stopwatch, and I'm clicking on start, and then I'm moving the stopwatch out of the way. Now I'm setting the font a little larger. I'm not setting it as large as I usually do because the really large font wasn't working properly with Chris's installer. And so I decided to set the font exactly the way Chris did in his video. And now I'm downloading his installer. I'm just typing in the command, and now we're at his installer. And I'm going down to System, and I'm going to hit Enter twice. Then I'm going to go down to Arch Server Setup and hit it. And then I'm going to hit the Y for yes. Now I'm going to type in my username, Mench. I'm going to put my password in. I'm going to put it in again. And it's asking me for a host name. So I'm going to call my host name Titus. And you can see here it says 50 gig hard drive, yes. It said a SSD, I'm going to answer no. Then I'm going to use my arrows to go down ext4. And it's already recognizing my time zone. So I just had to say yes. So it already recognized my time zone. I didn't have to select it. And it's automatically going to select the mirrors from Canada. It takes a moment or so to select the mirrors from Canada. And now it's going through the base install. It's asked me to proceed with installation. I had to say yes. And now it's going through the base install. And I just want to say while it's doing this, rather than pausing the video, that I don't know Titus personally. I've been watching his channel for over 5 years, and actually he was the first Linux video channel that I watched, and it was from watching his channel that I got inspired to take the leap and try Linux. And actually, I watched a video over 5 years ago where his 7-year-old daughter installed Linux Mint on a computer. Well, he was helping her, but she did it. And when I saw that video, I thought, hey, if she can do it, I can do it. So I installed Linux Mint on my computer 5 years ago. Now it's been 5 years. Of course, Arch Linux is my favorite distribution. So I just want to say he's a great guy. I don't know him personally. I just know him from watching his videos. He has a great channel, and he's not the only one that I was watching. And so anyways, I saw his video the other day, and I thought I'd try out his installer and make a video about it and compare it with my way of doing a fast install. And of course, we're timing this. And I'm going to pause some of the video too. Just, you don't need to see it downloading all the packages. And of course, the video is going to be heavily edited, right? Okay, so it's finished. You can see at the top there, in the green, it says success. Press enter. Now I bring my stopwatch over, and we're at 6 minutes, 5:56. So I'm going to press enter to get out of there, and then I'm going to press Q to get back to my prompt, and then I'm going to reboot. So I type in reboot, and it's rebooting. So now we're rebooting into the base install, and this is the nice screen that comes up. I hit enter to get into it, and I'm making that full screen again because it's a virtual machine. So now I got to type in my name, Mench. I'm going to put Mench's password in. So I'm going to download and install Terminus font because it doesn't come during the installation, because I want to make the font larger. And of course, I'm going to make it larger the way he does. I'm using the same font he does in his video because I found the super large font doesn't work good with this installer for some reason, at least not on my system. Okay, so now I'm setting the font with no audio, and then I rewatch it and add in the audio where I'm narrating. Okay, so the font's larger. So now I'm going to log back into his installer. I have to type in this command. Okay, so we're back in the installer. So I'm going to use my arrows to maneuver around. And I'm going to go down, I think the first part I have to go down, if I remember correctly, to system setup. Then you got to go over and you have to hit enter. Then you go down to the bottom and install Yay, the AUR helper, the Arch user repository. You have to type in Y for yes. I have to put my password in, and we're installing Yay. I'll have to put my password in again. And in the green at the top, it says success. Okay, then I move over and I go up to applications, and then I'm going to click on the V because I'm going to be installing multiple items. And then I go to Alacrity and I use my space bar to click it on. Bash prompt, DWM Titus. I'm using my space bar to mark it. Fast fetch and Rofi. And now there's one more thing I'm going to do, and that's install the firewall. And I don't think he did that in his video. I don't recall him doing that in his video. Maybe he did. I'm going to go to security, and I'm going to mark with my space bar. I'm going to mark the firewall. I'm going to hit enter. So you can see we're installing these 6 packages. And then I'm going to type in the Y for yes. I'm going to put my password in. And now it's installing those packages. Now I got to type in a Y for yes and hit enter. And I'm going to have to do this a couple times. A Y for yes again and hit enter. A Y for yes again and hit enter. He has no as the default. Y again. And I think there's one more time I'm going to have to do that. Oh, and now I'm going to type in 2 for Light DM. Now, when Chris went through his install on the video, he didn't install a display manager or a login manager. After his install was completed, he just logged in through the TTY with StartX. But I'm going to install a login manager because I do that when I go through my fast install using Arch install. I got to put my password in again. So when I go through my way of doing a fast install using Arch install and my post install script, I always install LightDM and have it turned on. I got to put a Y again for yes. And you have to read that stuff like this is for SL status. So you can see, anyways, when you're going through his installer, when you see this up here in green, but it says success. Press enter to close the window. So then we're going to hit Q to get out of there. Then I'm going to type in reboot. And now we're rebooting into the fully installed system. And it should take us to Light DM. There we are. We're in Light DM. So this is the install. And it took 12 minutes and 33 seconds. Actually 31, but who's counting? So it took 12 minutes and 33 seconds. So in this part of the video, I don't go through a tour of the system. I'm going to do that after. So now I've booted up into a new virtual machine of Arch Linux, and I turn on the clock. And now I'm going to go through install a fast Arch Linux install the way I do it. So I'm setting the font, and then I'm going into Arch install, the automated Arch Linux installer that comes with the ISO. And I've done lots of videos on this. You know, if you go through my channel, I have over 300 videos in my channel. And I've gone through this many times. So I'm going to click the locale, my locale language, and it's English Canada. So I'm going into there. And then I'm going to let the system select the mirrors for me, all the mirrors from Canada. A lot of times when I go through this installer, I manually select my own mirrors in the TTY. But this time I'm going to let the installer select the mirrors from Canada, just like it did in Chris's installer. This configuration, use my spacebar to click it on, go to ext4, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to skip disk encryption. I'm going to turn off swap because I don't like it. Bootloader, I'm going to leave as grub. Host name, I'm going to call it mine. What a name for a host name. Root password, I'm putting in my root password. And then I'm going to let the installer make a user for me with sudo privileges. A lot of times I do this in the TTY. I don't do it in the installer, but I'm letting the installer do it for me, just like with Chris's installer. And then I'm going to pick Network Manager. Additional packages, I'm going to do a Vim, Git, and Terminus font. Then I'm going to go to time zone, and I'm going to pick Eastern Canada, because I'm in Eastern Canada. And that's it. Now I'm going to install it. Yes. So now it's going through a base install. So I'm going to pause the video. So don't go away. I'll be back. Okay. So it finished the base install. It's asking me if I want to root into the system and make changes. And the default is no, so I'm going to say no. I'm going to show you the clock first. So now we're at 5 minutes and 49 seconds. And now I'm going to type in reboot. And we're going to reboot into the TTY. So I'm going to make it full screen. Hopefully, yeah, I remember to do that. And I'm going to type in Mench. I'm going to put Mench's password in. Then I'm going to set the font to a larger font. I'm going to make it really large this time. 132B. Yeah, I like that font. Okay. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a .config directory. And now I'm going to download my GitLab repository. I'm going to do git clone https //gitlab.com/artibus1/mench.git. And of course, this command is in the show notes of all my videos. Okay, so I just downloaded my GitLab repository. So I'm going to cd into the directory Mench and Arch. Mench/Arch. And I'm going to download an AutoApp basic file. So I've had an AutoApp file in my GitLab repository for a long time. And it had the Awesome window manager, the Qtile window manager, the Cinnamon desktop environment, the GNOME desktop environment, and the i3 window manager, plus tons of apps, including Kdenlive, OBS, GIMP, and LibreOffice. So in order to slim this down a bit, I made a new AutoApp script, and I took the Cinnamon desktop out and the GNOME desktop out and the i3 window manager out. I took OBS, Kdenlive, and GIMP out. And also I took out LibreOffice just to slim it down because I'm thinking some people who use my script, maybe they don't want all those applications, right? So I don't have any desktop environments in this script. All I have is Qtile and the awesome window manager. Okay, so I trimmed it down a bit, and this is called Auto App Basic. So I still have the other Auto App script in there with more stuff in it, all that other stuff in it, if you want to use that, or you can use this one. Anyways, I'm going to pause the video and come back. So don't go away. Okay, so now it finished downloading all the packages. And I also have in my scripts a run config file, and it copies all the configurations from my GitLab repository into the home directory where I need them to be. And I made a special run config script to go with this basic auto app install, and it's called run configs basic. Now I still have the other one in there, my regular run config script. I just trimmed it down so I'd have a basic run config script to go with my basic app install. And I don't know if I should really call it basic because it still has a lot of packages in it. Okay, so I'm going to do /run configs basic. Okay, and this is going to turn on the firewall. It's going to set LightDM, and it's going to copy some configuration files over. And now I'm going to reboot, and it's going to bring me to LightDM, the login screen, or the display manager as it's properly called. And here we are. Now, if you go to the hamburger menu, you see I have Qtile and Awesome in there. So I'm going to click on Awesome, type my password in. Now we're in the awesome window manager, and the time is 10:30. So it took 2 minutes. It was 2 minutes faster. So this is the end of this part of the video. I'm going to open up Vert Manager, and let's do Chris's first. So it's called Titus, and let's play it. Let's get into it. So it's logging in, and it's going to log into LightDM. Now, like I said, Chris, when he did his video, he didn't turn on LightDM. He just logged into the TTY and went in through StartX. So you can see here, there's only DWM installed. There's no other window managers or desktop environments. And I'm going to put my password in. So now I'm like really live. I finished dubbing over my video I made early this morning. So this is the install. You got, the time is up here, and you have some other things. I don't really know what these things are. There's really no mouse activity here. I like the wallpaper. It's really nice, though. And you have this here. Now, you can't click that on like that. You have to use your mod key, and I think it was R, right? Yeah, because it's Rofi. Mod key R brings up Rofi, and then, of course, your arrows go down. I don't know if the mouse works in here because I never used Rofi before. Oh, yeah, it does. So here we have it. Now, the theming is really nice. I love this here. I forget what this is called. There's a name for this type of style. I can't remember it. I know the name, but it just left my mind. And I like the fact that he has the time there, 1835, which is 6:35 p.m. And so we can see now his is a really basic install. Now notice in his install, he used the LTS kernel, and there's only 342 packages. Looks like we're using 443 gigabytes of RAM. Now this virtual machine that I made, I gave it 4 processors, 4 gigs of RAM, and no swap. Now in this install, there's no web browser. So if you want a web browser, you're going to have to get it yourself. Now with his installer, there is a menu in his installer where you can go and install a web browser. And he has a whole list of web browsers. I think he has about 5, 6, or 7 web browsers, and you can even install web browsers from the AUR. But I didn't show that in the video because he didn't show that in his video. I was just trying to duplicate what he was doing. Okay? But yeah, there's a menu there. So there's other apps in his installer that you can choose and install. But he did a really base install, and so did I. And I probably should have installed a web browser, and I should have showed you how to do that inside his installer. But I didn't. And I'm not going to remake the video. Do sudo pacman s. Let's do htop. And let's do Firefox. Put my password in. And I'm just going to go with the defaults. Oh, 74 packet. Oh, look how fast it's going. Oh, that was fast. Okay, let's clear the screen and let's do an htop now. Okay, so it's running pretty low. Running at, oh, wow, really low. I didn't realize that his installer was putting in a swap. But that's okay. So it's running pretty low. It's running at 247 megabytes of RAM. Not bad. Really, really not bad. So let's quit out of there and let's just exit. I'm not sure about his key bindings. So let's do mod key R and let's use the arrows to go down to Firefox. Let's hit enter. I never used Rofi before. I think I installed it once for like 5 minutes. And there's Firefox. And let's close it. So that's the install from Titus. Mod key R. I'm just going to go into Alacrity and I'm going to shut down. Shut down now. Now I'm going to open up the install I did my way. And let's close Titus down. Let's hit play. Let's make it full screen. Let's hit enter. So my install is going to take you to LightDM as well. And remember, he had 341 packages installed. Okay, so on mine, if you go to the hamburger menu, you see we have Qtile, we have Awesome. And then I'm going to put my password in, and don't show that again. And you can see I have a temperature. And of course, mine is not themed as nicely as Chris's install. And what I'm going to do is, well, let's open up a terminal. Let's just use the mouse. You know what? Let's use the key bindings. Mod key enter opens up the terminal. Let's do it HTOP. So we're running at 304 megabytes of RAM. So in this virtual machine, as always, I always do this. I have 4 processors, 4 gigs of RAM, and no swap because I can't be bothered with swap. So we're running at 309 megabytes of RAM, not bad. Let's quit out of there. Let's do a neofetch. So now my install is a lot larger. I have 682 packages. Now, when I was going through the install, I said I made a new auto app script called auto app basic. So compared to Chris's install, this is not really basic, but it's more basic than my regular auto app script, which installs 2 desktop environments, 3 window managers, and all the apps I use for recording and making videos, and LibreOffice. And what I like to do with mine is, and of course, if you watch my videos, I've done this 100 times in the videos. I always make it Matera Dark. I go to icon theme, I make it Papyrus Dark, and I apply it. And I close that. Oh, and I have a volume control here. And just what I want to do is log out and back in again. Let's go back in. And I'm going to change this. Show slider. Default is GNOME. There we go. And then I'm going to make this go up. I'm going to put the volume up really high. And I'm going to open up PCman FM. Let's open up Firefox. Okay, so we have Firefox. Let's close Firefox. I have Rhythmbox installed for music. I have CMUS installed, which is a music player that works in the terminal. Let's close that. I have GNOME disks. I have GNOME calculator. Let's close that. System monitor. I have Nemo installed as well. That's PCman FM. I have disk usage. And I also have the Zesh shell installed. So if you open a terminal and if we just type in Zesh, and I always set it as default, but I didn't do that in this video because I was trying to do it as fast as I can. Okay. But I've showed in many of my videos how to make this the default shell. And of course, even my Zesh shell is not as pretty or nice looking as Chris's. And that's it. In this video, I did a comparison between Titus' new installer for Arch Linux and my way of doing a fast install, where I use Arch Install, the Arch Linux automated installer that comes with the ISO, to do a base install, and then I use my post install script to install all my favorite window managers and apps and so forth. And I timed it. And to my surprise, my method was 2 minutes faster than Chris's. And my method installed more packages. I'm going to say that I really do like Chris's installer. And I think I'm going to use it some more. I'm going to play with it some more. Maybe I'll do another video on it. And I'll show the other menus. And what I like about his install is that it's really beautiful. It's a nice install. And what I like about his installer is that you don't have to pick and choose a lot. It automatically detects your IP address and where you're living, or what area of the world you live in. And what I like about his installer is that it gives you the option to install Yay quickly and easily. So you can install packages from the AUR, the Arch User Repository, really easy. So I think his installer is a great installer. Now, of course, I like my installer too. And I highly recommend that you try using his installer. Just at the end of the video here, I want to thank Chris for his YouTube channel and for all the things I learned from him and for his installer. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like it and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I am the Linux Mench.